The drone's crimson glow spread across the bay, filling it with heat. Its voice echoed once more, a whisper that felt like thunder. You thought victory was measured in battles won. You thought you ended us. But you only forged us into something greater. Relcor's chest tightened as the truth sank in. Humanity had lost worlds, lost ships, lost bodies, but not themselves. They had turned their weakness into strength, their death into survival. Human ingenuity had found a path no empire dared to follow, and now, standing before him in steel and fire, he realized something far more terrifying than war. Humans had made themselves eternal. The turning point, the Zorith Empire did not ignore the warning. Within days of the patrol ship's discovery, a massive fleet was dispatched to the sector. Hundreds of warships bristling with weapons filled the void. The Empire had faced rebellions, invasions, and rival species, but never the return of humanity. On the bridge of the patrol ship, Captain Relcor stared at the sight in grim silence. Warships stretched as far as his eyes could see. Their engines glowed, ready for destruction. They mean to erase the drones, Vela whispered, her mandibles trembling. Relicor's claws clicked against the console. They must. If these machines spread, they could infect every corner of the galaxy. But outside, the swarm of human drones floated silently, like a sleeping storm. Thousands of red eyes glowed faintly, unafraid. They did not scatter. They did not retreat. They waited. The order came from the Empire's high command. Destroy them all. The fleet opened fire. Blinding beams of plasma, torpedoes of antimatter, and burning energy waves cut through space. The void itself seemed to shatter under the force. For a moment, it looked like the swarm was being torn apart. Explosions bloomed across the field. But then, the drones moved, like a living wall. They shifted formation. Some absorbed the blasts, their armor blackening but refusing to break. Others weaved between the beams with impossible precision. They did not fight back at first. They endured. Then the counterattack began. The swarm ignited with red light. Energy bursts shot from their cores, tearing through the Empire's ships. With surgical accuracy, entire cruisers went dark as their systems shut down. Fighters vanished in a storm of fire. Relcor's officers gasped as they watched the impossible. They are thinking together. Every drone knows what the others will do. Vela's voice trembled. It's more than that. They share one mind, a hive of human ghosts, fighting as one soldier. On the battlefield, the Empire's numbers should have guaranteed victory. But every tactic, every strategy was predicted, countered, destroyed. The swarm moved like water, flowing around fire, striking only where it hurt most. Inside the patrol ship, alarms screamed as debris from destroyed. Cruisers slammed across their shields. Relcor watched in horror as the Empire's proud fleet, built over centuries, crumbled before a ghost army. The captured drone in the bay came alive again. Its voice boomed across every channel, drowning out the screams of Empire officers. You do not understand war as we do. You fight for power, we fight for memory. We fight for those who cannot return. A massive explosion ripped across the fleet. Another Empire dreadnought fell silent, its core torn apart. Panic spread. Commanders shouted desperate orders, but nothing slowed the swarm. The human drones, adapted to every weapon. Plasma cannons, absorbed. EMP blasts, redirected. Gravitational mines, dodged with perfect unity. Every Empire weapon became useless in minutes. Relcor sank into his chair, his eyes wide with dread. They learn too fast. They are human. That creativity, that defiance, it's in every machine. The battle turned into slaughter. The proud Empire fleet, once unstoppable, was ripped apart piece by piece. On the edge of the chaos, Vela whispered words that chilled every alien on the bridge. This is not just a battle. This is vengeance. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy's strongest empire tasted fear. The turning point had come. and it did not belong to the living. The legacy of humanity. The battlefield was silent now. The proud fleet of the Zorith Empire lay in ruins, shattered hulls drifting like broken bones across the void. Fires burned inside twisted wreckage, flickering against the cold light of distant stars. And yet in the silence the swarm remained. Thousands of human drones floated together, glowing red like an endless sea of watchful eyes. They did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They simply endured, united in grim silence. On the patrol ship, Captain Relkor sat motionless. His claws trembled against the armrest, his eyes locked on the swarm. He had seen empires rise and fall, but nothing like this. No living army could fight like them. No empire could outlast them. The drone inside the cargo bay stirred once more. Its voice echoed through every deck, every shattered comm, even across the drifting remains of the fallen Empire fleet. You thought humanity gone. You thought our graves cold, but humanity never dies. The words rolled through the silence like thunder. The crew bowed their heads, not out of respect, but out of fear. The drone's eyes glowed brighter, casting crimson shadows across the bay. We were flesh, yes. Fragile, short-lived. But we chose to rise beyond death. Every drone carries a soldier. Every soldier carries memory. We are the fallen who did not fall. The swarm outside shifted, and for the first time their formation changed. They gathered into a vast symbol written in the stars, a blazing red pattern that even alien eyes could understand. It was not a warning this time. It was a message. Humanity endures. Relkor whispered to himself. Even extinction could not stop them. Vela stood beside him, her voice soft, filled with awe. This is their legacy. Not planets, not fleets. Memory. They made themselves eternal. The drone's voice lowered, but its tone was heavy with power, with sorrow, with pride. We are not conquerors, we are not tyrants, we are guardians of what was, and wherever we remain, humanity will never be forgotten. A silence fell again, deeper than before. The swarm began to move, slow and steady, drifting back into the endless dark. One by one, the red eyes dimmed, fading into the void like falling stars. They did not chase the surviving Empire ships. They did not finish the slaughter. They had made their point. On the bridge, the crew dared to breathe again. Relkor felt his chest tighten with a strange realization. For all their power, the humans had not sought glory or empire. They sought remembrance. To be eternal. The patrol ship floated quietly among the wreckage. The crew said nothing, each of them haunted by the same thought. If even one drone survived in any corner of the galaxy, then humanity was not gone. Humanity was waiting. The drone in the bay spoke one final time, its voice soft now, almost gentle. Tell your empire this. Humanity does not fade. We do not yield. We remain forever. And with that, its glow faded to black. The machine drifted into silence once more, as if returning to sleep. But Relkor knew it was not truly asleep. None of them were. He leaned back in his chair, his body heavy with dread. The Zorith Empire would spread this story. Other empires would hear it. Some would laugh, some would fear. But all would remember. Humanity was not a ghost of the past. Humanity was a shadow across the future. In the endless dark of the galaxy, the drones drifted quietly. Not alive, not dead, something more. The war was over, but the legacy of humanity had just begun. We will not vanish. If our bodies fall, our minds will rise. Humanity will fight forever. Vela's hands shook. The data was not just code. It was memory. Human memory, preserved inside steel. The guard behind her shifted uneasily. What is it showing you? Vela turned slowly, her eyes wide with horror. These are not drones, these are humans trapped inside machines. The guard froze. Before they could speak again, the screen changed. A face appeared. It was human, young, scarred, eyes full of fire. His lips moved, and the speakers translated his words. "You are not our enemy. Yet. But if you threaten us, we will end you." The guard stumbled back, drawing his weapon. "It's alive! It's talking to you!" The drone's eyes lit crimson once more. The stasis field flickered. The machine shifted slightly, like a sleeper disturbed by dreams. Vela's heart pounded. "No, wait, it's showing us its past, its pain, it wants to be heard." The guard ignored her, pressing his communicator. "Captain, the drone is—" But the voice of the human ghost interrupted. "I was Sergeant Elias Kane. I fought at Vega Prime. I fell there, but my war did not end." The alien guard froze in terror. The words were clear, personal, filled with memory. It was not a program. It was a man speaking from beyond death. Vela whispered, almost in awe. Humanity copied themselves into machines. The memory fragments shifted again. She saw the battlefield through Elias Kane's eyes. Alien warships rained fire on human lines. Soldiers screamed as the ground split open. Kane shouted orders, fought until his body broke. Then came darkness. And after darkness, light. He awoke inside a machine. Confused. Afraid. But still ready to fight. The drone's voice, lowered like a growl. "We could not surrender. We could not allow extinction. We became what we had to be." The cargo bay shook. The drone systems flared, breaking through the stasis. Sparks danced across the walls. Soldiers outside screamed as alarms blared once again. Captain Relcor stormed into the chamber. "What have you done?" Vela turned toward him, desperation in her eyes. "Captain, these drones are not weapons. They are survivors. Humans who refuse to die." The captain's eyes widened. He looked at the machine, at the glowing red gaze of Sergeant Kane. His claws tightened. The drone tilted its head, locking its eyes on the captain. The human voice echoed once more. "You thought us gone. But every drone is a soldier who remembers. Every machine carries a ghost of war, and together, we are still human." The ship went silent. Crew members stared, unable to breathe. For the first time, they realized what they had awakened. Not just machines, not just relics. An army of human memories, soldiers who had chosen to live forever in steel. The memories of war were alive again. The Hive Awakens, the Zorith patrol ship drifted like a wounded beast through the dark sector. Inside, fear spread faster than fire. The crew whispered about the human drone, about the voice that claimed to be a soldier. Some wanted to jettison it into space. Others wanted to flee and never return. But it was already too late. In the cargo bay, the captured drone pulsed with crimson light. Its core throbbed like a beating heart. And then, something invisible spread out from it. A signal, soft but powerful, rippling across the void. On the bridge, alarms screamed again. "Captain, we are detecting activity outside the ship." Relcor rushed to the viewport. His eyes widened. The debris field was no longer silent. One by one, the other drones stirred. Red lights flickered in the darkness like awakening eyes. Silent shapes shifted, moving into formation. Dozens, hundreds. The crew panicked. "They're activating. All of them." Relcor's chest tightened. "No, they're answering its call." The drones drifted closer, not random, but perfectly organized, like soldiers returning to their commander. The empty void now glowed, with hundreds of red eyes burning against the stars. Inside the cargo bay, the captured drone raised its head. Its voice came again, deeper, carried by the ship's speakers. "We are not alone. We never were." Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered. Communications went dead. Engines froze. The alien crew shouted as consoles sparked. "They're inside our network again," an engineer cried. "They are rewriting everything." But this time it wasn't just one drone. It was all of them, working together. A hive of human ghosts, each connected, each sharing memory, thought, and strategy. The soldiers guarding the bay trembled. Their weapons were useless. They remembered too well how the drone had disabled them before. Vela, the scientist, pressed her hands against the glass, whispering, "It's not just one soldier. It's an army." The red glow spread until the entire bay looked like it was burning from within. The drone's voice grew louder, layered, as if thousands of human voices spoke in unison. "We were flesh. Now we are steel. But together, we are still one." The alien crew collapsed in terror. Some screamed, others froze in silence. Relcor forced himself to stay standing, but his legs trembled. He had commanded fleets, crushed rebellions, and burned colonies. Yet he had never seen anything like this. Outside the ship, the drones moved as one. They spread across the sector in a flawless military pattern. No chaos, no hesitation. Every movement echoed human discipline. Every formation screamed of a species that had learned war the hard way. The comms sparked alive for a brief moment. A distorted human voice broke through, filling the bridge. "Humanity has not left this galaxy. Humanity remembers. Humanity fights." The sound cut off. The silence after was worse than the alarms. Relcor turned toward his officers. "We must warn the Empire. If these things spread," but his words were drowned by another tremor. The ship shook violently as the drones surrounded it. They did not fire, but their presence was enough. They had no need for threats. The message was clear, Vela whispered, almost in awe. "They don't need bodies anymore. They don't need worlds or fleets. They are everywhere, as long as even one drone remains." Relcor's mind spun. If every drone carried a human soul, then the war humans had lost was not truly over. It had only changed form. The drones, outside, arranged themselves into a massive burning symbol, an ancient human war sign etched against the stars. The Zorith crew did not know its meaning, but to the humans, it was clear. "We endure." Inside the bay, the captured drone spoke again. This time its voice was steady, cold, unyielding. "You thought you ended us. You thought wrong. We are the fallen who never fell. We are the hive. We are humanity eternal." The red glow brightened, flooding the ship until every shadow was banished. And in that moment, every alien on board knew the truth. The hive had awakened. Human ingenuity, unveiled. The patrol ship's halls were filled with whispers of fear. The crew no longer spoke like warriors of the Zorith Empire. They spoke like prisoners waiting for judgment. Outside, the swarm of human drones floated in perfect formation, their crimson eyes burning against the stars. Inside, Captain Relcor tried to keep control, but his own voice shook with doubt. "They are machines," he insisted, though it sounded weak even to himself. "Machines can be broken." Scholar Vela turned sharply toward him. "No, Captain. You don't understand. These are not machines. They are human soldiers. Their minds, their memories, their fury, trapped inside steel. They cannot be broken because they do not fear death. They already died once." Relcor's claws clicked nervously. He had fought humans before, but never like this. In his memory, they were fragile creatures, desperate and reckless. Yet here was the truth. Those fragile bodies had been only the beginning. Humans had found a way to keep fighting, even when their flesh had failed. The captured drone in the bay suddenly shifted. Its red eyes flared and its voice filled the entire ship, vibrating through every wall. "Do you know why we endure? Do you know why we became this?" The crew froze, listening. The drone's voice deepened, layered with echoes, as if many soldiers spoke together through it. "Long ago, humanity faced extinction. The galaxy outnumbered us. Empires sought to erase us. We had two choices: surrender or evolve." Images flickered across the ship's screens without command. Humans building laboratories, soldiers walking into chambers, their bodies strapped with wires. The moment of death, then awakening and "Steel!" The crew stared in horror. Vela whispered, They volunteered." The drone continued, its words steady and filled with iron. "We became drones not because we loved war, but because we refused to be forgotten. We carried our memories into machines. We carried our loyalty, our grief, our rage, humanity's soul, preserved in fire and metal. The drone leaned forward, its glowing eyes fixed on the viewing glass. You fight with armies of flesh. But flesh breaks. Flesh surrenders. We cannot. We are forever. Relcor slammed his claws against the console, trying to drown his fear with anger. You are abominations, half ghost, half machine. You are not alive. The drone tilted its head. Alive enough to remember the faces of those we lost. Alive enough to feel hatred. Alive enough to fight. The bridge fell silent. The aliens had no answer. Outside, the swarm moved again. Each drone shifting in precise unity. Their formation tightened into a spiral, a vast signal written in red light. The message pulsed through every sensor, every channel. Even without translation, the aliens understood the meaning. We remain. Relcor's officers began to whisper nervously. If they spread across the galaxy, no one can stop them. Vela's voice shook, but she did not look away from the glowing machine. This was humanity's final weapon. Not fleets, not colonies, immortality. They made themselves into warriors who never sleep. The silent discovery. The galaxy was quiet that night. Stars burned like cold lanterns, far away and uncaring. A patrol ship from the Zorith Empire drifted across the border region. Inside the ship, alien officers sat in silence, their scales glimmering under pale blue lights. They were used to quiet space, but tonight felt different. Captain Relcor sat at the command chair, his 4 yellow eyes fixed on the endless void. His crew had detected something unusual ahead. Strange signals. Not natural, not random. It was like the whisper of machines drifting without masters. Bring us closer, Relcor ordered. The ship glided forward, thrusters humming softly. Soon the crew saw them. At first, they looked like debris, broken metal, shattered weapons, pieces of wrecked ships. But then the shapes became clear. Dozens of dark objects floated together like a silent flock of birds. Their surfaces were scorched, their edges sharp. No lights, no engines active. But they were arranged, too perfectly. Not scattered like wreckage, but gathered like a unit. Drones, whispered the science officer, clicking her mandibles nervously. Combat drones, human-made. The bridge went silent. Everyone knew of humans. The stories traveled across the galaxy, a strange, short-lived species from a distant world. They were unpredictable, clever, and dangerous. The Zorith Empire had fought them long ago at the edge of a dying star. The humans lost, or so everyone believed. Their fleets had burned, their colonies abandoned. No one had seen them for centuries. Yet here in the void, their machines still floated. Relcor narrowed his eyes. Scan them. I want details. The scanners pulsed across the field. Data flickered on the screens. The results were confusing. These drones were old, very old, yet their cores still held power. Their armor was scarred but intact. Their systems seemed asleep but not dead. They are waiting, the science officer said softly. But for what? Relcor felt unease crawl through his chest. Machines should not wait. Wreckage should not gather itself like this. Something about the formation felt alive, like soldiers standing in silence, waiting for orders. The crew argued in hushed voices. Some wanted to destroy the drones immediately, to erase this ghost of humanity before it could awaken. Others wanted to capture one, to study it, to learn what humans had built. Relcor raised a clawed hand. We take one, bring it aboard. The rest we leave for now. Reluctantly, the crew obeyed. Mechanical arms extended from the ship, reaching for the nearest drone. It was large, heavier than expected, almost the size of a small fighter. Its surface was blackened, but strange markings could still be seen. Words in the human tongue, etched into metal like a grave marker. The alien crew could not read them, but the words were simple. Unit 17. We still stand. The drone was pulled into the cargo bay, the massive door sealed behind it. For a long moment, the ship was silent again. Then the lights inside the cargo bay flickered. A soft hum began, low and steady, like a machine waking from a long dream. The crew watching on cameras gasped. The drone's eyes, or what looked like eyes, glowed faintly red. "It's activating," shouted a technician. But we didn't touch it. The drone lifted slightly from the floor, its systems coming alive one by one. The red glow brightened. The air seemed to tremble as if something powerful had entered the room, and then against all reason it spoke. The voice was broken, metallic, yet filled with something more than code. It was heavy with warning, heavy with memory. "You should not be here." The words echoed across the ship, cold and sharp. Every alien froze. Machines were not supposed to speak like that. Machines were not supposed to feel alive. Relcor's chest tightened. He suddenly understood the danger. These were not simple drones. They were something else, something worse. For the first time in many years, the proud captain of the Zorath Empire felt fear. The drone's red eyes scanned the bay, searching, judging. Then its voice came again, louder this time, filled with iron determination. "Humanity never dies." The crew panicked. Weapons were drawn. Alarms blared across the ship. But it was already too late. The silent discovery had awakened. The first encounter. The alarms screamed across the Zorath patrol ship. Red lights flashed on every wall as the crew scrambled to respond. The captured human drone floated above the cargo bay floor, glowing with a strange crimson light. It looked like a dead machine brought back to life. Captain Relcor rushed to the viewing deck. His 4 eyes locked on the drone through the transparent barrier. Soldiers aimed plasma rifles, hands shaking, but no one dared to fire. The drone spoke again, its metallic voice cold and uneven. "You are intruding where you do not belong." The soldiers froze. Machines could repeat programmed lines, yes. But this felt different. It was not an echo of code. It was a warning. Relicor's throat tightened. "Restrain it. Use the magnetic clamps." A pair of heavy claws descended from the ceiling, sparking as they locked onto the drone's frame. For a moment, it seemed secure. The red glow dimmed and the crew allowed themselves to breathe again. But then the drone moved. The claws holding it snapped apart like brittle sticks. Sparks exploded across the bay. The drone rotated slowly, its head turning toward the soldiers. One of them fired in panic. A bolt of plasma struck the drone's chest. The blast should have melted through steel. Instead, the drone absorbed the energy. Its armor shimmered, repairing itself before their eyes. The crew gasped. Impossible. The drone's red eyes burned brighter. With a sudden pulse, every weapon in the bay short-circuited. Soldiers screamed as rifles sparked and died in their claws. The drone spoke again, louder this time. "You fight with toys. Humanity fought with fire." Before anyone could react, the drone shot forward faster than the eye could follow. One soldier was slammed against the wall, his armor crushed. Another was hurled across the room by an unseen force. The drone didn't fire a weapon. It used pure speed and strength. The camera feeds flickered as the ship's system struggled. Engineers at the command deck yelled as half the monitors went dark. "It's inside our network. It's rewriting our systems." Relcor's claws dug into the arm of his chair. "How? It's just a machine." But he already knew. This was no ordinary drone. The science officer screamed over the chaos. "Captain, I am reading thought patterns. It's not just code. It's alive." Her words froze every alien on the bridge. Alive. How could a machine be alive? Unless humans had found a way. The drone turned to the cameras as if it knew the crew was watching. Its glowing eyes filled the screen. The voice came again, but this time softer, almost like a whisper. "We remember. We fight. We endure." The screen went black. In the cargo bay, silence fell. The drone floated motionless, its crimson glow fading until only faint embers remained. It looked asleep again, but the damage was done. 3 soldiers were dead. The ship's systems were crippled, and fear spread across every deck. Relcor ordered the drone sealed inside reinforced containment. Triple the guards. If it wakes again, destroy it. No hesitation. But as his officers moved to obey, Relcor's mind was racing. He had seen many weapons in his lifetime, but nothing like this. If even one human drone carried the ghost of a soldier's mind, how many more were drifting out there? The Empire believed humanity was gone, extinct, broken, forgotten. But this machine had spoken like a man, fought like a man, remembered like a man. Relcor could not stop thinking about its final words before going silent. We remember. We fight. We endure. The captain's scales turned cold. He finally understood. The humans had not lost the war. They had only changed the battlefield. Memories of war, the patrol ship floated in silence. For hours, the captured drone remained still inside, the reinforced bay. Its red glow faded and it looked like nothing more than a broken relic. But the crew could not relax. Fear clung to every corridor like smoke. In the science chamber, Scholar Vela worked alone. Her thin fingers tapped the console nervously as she studied the strange human machine. She had begged the captain for permission to examine it, and Relcor had agreed, though only under heavy guard. Through the observation glass, the drone floated inside a stasis field. Its black armor was cracked, revealing circuits that pulsed faintly, like veins under skin. Symbols carved into its chest shimmered. When scanned, marks of human language. Vela leaned closer, her mandibles trembling. Not machine. Something more. She activated the memory interface, a device meant to read fragments of data from old technology. The moment it connected, her screen filled with static. Then, images. Her breath caught. She saw fire. Cities. Burning. Human soldiers fighting against impossible odds. She saw starships falling like meteors, their hulls torn apart by alien weapons. She heard voices shouting in pain, in rage, in defiance. And then she heard it. A single human voice.